All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the Devstream 178 breakdown. So, this was at PAX, so it is a little bit more of a show and a lot less of just like an informative dev stream that's like from the offices, but we still have quite a bit to talk about and some new information. So, let's just get right into it, starting with, of course, the TennoCon digital pack. So, we know what is in this now. It is this cool looking Sindana that I imagine will be on many a drifter, along with a Hiko skin. And then with that, there's also going to be a display, an emote, a glyph, and a sigil. There will also be an Arthur floof, and of course some platinum, a Regal Aya, and then the borrow relay ticket, as we are used to with the TennoCon digital packs. So yeah, cool stuff with that. I think the cosmetic looks nice. Might make it onto one of my drifter fashions, and is neat. Moving on from TennoCon stuff. Oh, besides that, on the 28th is whenever TennoCon tickets go on sale, so keep that in mind. But yeah, that is when all that stuff is happening for TennoCon. Moving on. Dante on the 27th. So the only thing that's really worth noting here is that the Dante update on the 27th looks very cool. We're getting a lot in it. We're getting, obviously, Dante, the Inaros rework, a bunch of new augments, new game modes, so on and so forth, new weapons, new Incarnate weapons, and it looks really good. To not go over everything that's in the Dante update again, here's the cool splash art and also his very neat Prex card, both of which you can see over on the site on Brozime.com if you want to look at these notes directly. He looks really cool. I hope that Dante is very good. Excited for that update. Actually, brand new stuff to talk about. We have Protea Prime, which of course we expected given the general Prime order of things. And she looks, from the concepts, she looks really good. I think that this design is fantastic. It's just really difficult to fight Protea Deluxe and how good that looks, which is where it's like, how this actually ends up in game, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be very tough to top Protea Deluxe. At the very least, I will almost certainly have a fashion loadout for Protea that uses this. And in addition, in terms of other details with this, she is gonna have the alternate Prime helmet, as Goss did for a second option there from the PA. And then also, of course, all of her accessories are primed with her turret on her back and also deployed, the dispensary, utility belt, her grenades. All that stuff is also getting the Prime treatment, as you would want. And then in terms of weapons, we're getting the Okina and the Velox Prime. Gonna keep it real. I see little to no potential at all for either of these weapons. In all likelihood, what we are actually looking at here is 6,000 mastery, which it ain't great. Kind of sucks, but it, it's kind of been the way of Prime weapons recently, which I know is very sad, but it's just where we are right now, unfortunately. But yeah, don't expect a lot from the Prime weapons, but Protea herself looks fantastic, and Protea is really good, and you shouldn't play her. Stay away. Don't get her nerfed. Her play rate is in a totally acceptable and unnerfable location right now, and if too many of you get a hold of her, that might change. So please, go. She looks great. Go do something else. I'll be over here. We'll use Protea Prime, and it'll be just fine. The play rate won't go too high. We won't have to nerf her. Everything's gonna be good. So with that, moving on, we have a small update on the Uriel Deluxe. This is basically just like, hey, how does it? Here's the like a render of it actually, not just a concept art. We're also gonna be getting this pretty soon. I'm not big on the purple, but otherwise, I think this skin looks fine. I think that it's like reasonable. This is another one where I'd have to see it in game to really know if it's going to be better than base Uriel. In all likelihood, it will be because I have some real problems with how base Uriel looks. But yeah, a neat skin, but probably not for most people. Maybe with the the augment that we're going to be getting for Uriel that makes it so she doesn't have to use Marolina. Maybe more people will be interested in this, but we'll see. Now, in terms of actual big announcements, we mainly have one thing, and that is Jade Shadows. So, Jade Shadows just dropped. This is another cinematic quest for this year. This is going to be pre-1999, and this is going to be a cinematic quest from Stalker's perspective. You can see in the background here, we have Stalker's ship, and up front here is our Warframe for after Dante, Jade. So, with that, considering it's Jade, and she is glowing with a Jade light, if you will, we will probably get some clarity on either the fall of the Orokin or just what exactly the Jade light is in this quest, which sounds incredibly interesting to me. Also, of course, questions that people have had for a very long time about what the fuck is Stalker's deal will almost certainly get answered in this quest. So, very excited for that. Was not expecting a second cinematic quest for this year, but hey, the more of those we get, the happier I am with that, especially considering all the other stuff we're getting. D is just like absolutely cooking, and it looks great. I think Jade's design is really interesting. And that, like, I want to see what her kit is, obviously, but the big flowing dress look is one that I like. In addition to that, an update for 1999 is basically one thing, but there's a point that I do want to discuss because some people don't know like what the lore is going into this. So I do want to make things more clear if I can. Number one, we've seen Human Mag, and damn. Yeah. Yeah, correct. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So, her design's phenomenal. There is a trailer up for it, which you can go see. That's just posted recently on Warframe's main channel. Her design is phenomenal. Unshockingly, a Liger joint. And very, very good. Also, there is this street bike here, which is apparently going to be gameplay relevant. It has like a name and everything else. So we'll see how that actually factors into Warframe 1999 gameplay, which is going to be interesting. But basically, Aui's design is incredible. She looks fantastic. It is like a very, very good elevation of the base mag design, I think. Super cool. Her voice actor is Hanako from Cyberpunk 2077, for anyone of you that recently jumped into that since that game got fixed, and she does a great job, so I expect that again. So, two very prominent voice actors in the human Warframe positions that have done fantastic jobs in the past, so that's great news. With that, DE called both Arthur and Aoi proto-frames, which feels a little disingenuous, and it feels a little inaccurate, so I wanted to talk about what we currently know about how these partially human Warframes, Aoi and Arthur, what is the deal with them? Because proto would imply that they are like the first Warframes, and temporally, perhaps yes, but chronologically, no. So the way that we know from the lore in game, and you can go look at my the Intrati notes stuff that I have a video on if you want to get all of the lore from Albrecht directly in game. But the reason that these two are Warframed up is because Albrecht went from the future with all of the Warframe technology that we have in the future to the past and Warframeized at least these two. So in terms of the aspect of like progressing technology, they're actually the most recent Warframes in terms of Albrecht going to the past and bringing that future tech back to do this to them. So it's just wanted to clarify that they're not the first Warframes. Chronologically, depending on how you look at it, because time travel's a little fucky-wucky. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out there, but I think that her design looks fantastic. This trailer, just in general, is in, like, a cityscape, and it made me think about, like, whether or not, like, Warframe 1999 is going to have, like, a city open world, like a just straight-up, like, New York, where you are a Warframe doing Warframe shit, which sounds really interesting, depending on what, like, the gameplay stuff is around that. But yeah, it's super cool, and I can't wait for 1999. Lots of stuff going on, but like in terms of details and things, there was a Q&A at the Devstream here in PAX, and there was some stuff in there, some like interesting little tidbits and things, but no announcements, no big details or anything like that for going forward. Other than that, like there might be like a cool color palette that we're going to be getting. Also, speaking of color palette, the last thing that I do want to mention is that if you go to Warframe.com right now, there is a 11th anniversary site up, and there is, if you log into the site, there is a 1999 like computer. If you type the password in, which is just Happy New Year, all one word, you will get a color palette and a glyph from that. So go do that if you have not done it. But yeah, that's Devstream 178. Pretty kind of simple rundown, interesting announcements. Jade Shadows, Aui's design, big reveal. That trailer's really cool and good stuff. I'm super excited for Dante on the 27th, and it should be a great time. Otherwise, you guys can find me over on twitch.tv/Brozime. If you wanted to see my full reaction to like the entire dev stream, of course, that of course just happened. But in addition to that, I'm also playing a bunch of Dragon's Dogma 2. So if you're interested in seeing some of that, come hang out over on the Twitch. And yeah, great stuff for the dev stream. Pretty like, didn't expect any super deep dives on a public dev stream, but yeah, cool stuff. Very exciting. Hopefully I see you guys over on the stream, and have a good one. Goodbye. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. And also, of course, thanks as usual to the patrons for supporting the channel, especially the $10 patrons: Alex Parnham, Andrew, Arbiter Daydream, Benuven, Plotomatic, Brutus Salazar, Canolathra, Dylan Dworsky, Ethrain, Havon, James Harsthorn, JC4 Science, John Lobdell, Joshua Adams, Luzanth, Malachix Williams, Mikokel, Minty Ginja, Michta, Nerve, Moxidate, Ruby, Sanyu, Skur, Sharp247, Camarilla Wastelander, The Coupon of Death, Tomeworm, Victor Palmer, Waifu Wars, Waldad, and Seraphir. And of course, thank you to all of the $5 patrons as well. Your support is extremely, extremely appreciated. But yeah, we're about to get the Dante update. Should be an excellent time. Expect tons of videos to be coming about all the changes and new stuff that we're getting in that update, and should be excellent. And then the tier list will hopefully shortly follow.